the different changes, there's definitions. That's the one where if you have less than X amount of hours that the government could provide it with administrative leave to go to physicals. It also goes in there. That also talks about the bereavement time where you can use your sick leave to attend funerals and that. I mean, most managers are aware of that one, but they're not aware of a lot of the other ones, like if you're taking your child back and forth to the doctor or something, you can use parts of this and your sick leave instead of your annual leave. And I know to the first people, which most of our younger people are now, that's more important sometimes because you ain't going to get no money for that sick leave when you retire anyway. So a lot of people will use the sick leave for that.
I use it to take my dad.
Instead of using your annual leave. Because of course, if there's a reason you can use your sick leave compared to your annual leave, yes, you can accumulate more sick leave, but you have much more flexibility with your annual leave because you can use your annual leave to cover things like that. And if there happens to be an issue where you need it for that, or sick leave or another reason, you can use your annual leave too. They can't say, well, for people who don't like to use the leave, if you call them in and say, I don't feel well, they should ask you, well, what kind of leave do you want? And if you've got a lot of annual leave, they say, I want to use annual instead of sick leave. Depending on what it is. So, I mean, it's always a choice. But the sick leave, there are a lot of provisions that are covered under the Family Friendly Leave Act and the Family Medical Leave Act. All right.
Majority rule.
All right. First question I'm asking, can they deny you sick leave if you call in? Right. Lindy is right. Shaking her head. No. All right. There is no provision in the law. There's no provision in the contract that says they can deny sick leave. They can't say, Carmen, you're the third person who called in today, so you got to come in. You're sick. You're sick. Sick leave restrictions, they can't even deny it unless they think you're abusing the time. But that's extremely important for people to know. They can't deny sick leave. All right? If you say you're sick, there's other things they can do if they don't think you're sick. But for the most part, this is the second time you called in the last 12 months. They should not even question it. How much do you have to tell them when you call in? I am sick. Mm-hmm. I expect to be in, if you want, they can ask you that. Well, Jim, do you expect to be here in all today? No.
A cold should last, a week, 10 days.
You can tell them if you know that at the start, too.
That's what the doctor says. A week to 10 days. I can't really afford to be off work that long.
Right, but I mean, they can't ask at the point. You can tell them, and in fact, if let's say, Carmen, you say you've had the flu before, you have the flu, it's Thursday. You call on Thursday morning, you're scheduled to work Friday. You're so sick, there is no way you're going to get into tomorrow. You don't have to call them both days. You can say, I'm sick, I will see you on Monday. There's no reason they say that you have to call in both days. Second issue is, let's say, Carmen, you say that, and Carmen says, I got the flu, I'm sick today. I expect to be on a Monday. She calls Monday and says, I'm still not feeling better. All right. I'm not going to be in today, and I'll let you know if I'm in tomorrow. Okay. You call in Tuesday. Tuesday morning you get up and say, I'm still not ready to go back. I'm still dizzy. I'm calling in. I feel better. You call and say, I'm still sick. You come in Wednesday. They say, we want a doctor's excuse. Do you have to give them a doctor's slip? I'm asking you, Carmen. If they say, we want you to go to the... No, you do not. You can just say, I had the flu. Every day I thought I was going to feel better. I couldn't make it in. They should accept that. All right? There's no reason for you, when you know you have the flu, to do that.
So at what point...
Whoa! That's a second order.
Then it's first here.
No, Monique, me, Lindy, and then Linda.
Oh, okay.
See, that's the thing about this.
Well, I'm looking this way. I'm not looking through. Okay. Who's first now?
Monique is. Monique had a question before you even started.
No, she told me she didn't have one. I gave her opportunity.
I told you I had a sick one. But you can continue. You can take...
Okay, this is a follow-up, I guess, Miss Linda. Come on, Linda.
Well, my question was gonna be what he was just saying. If it's more than 4 days, are you then at that point supposed to bring in a doctor's excuse?
Not for in this case.
Okay, thanks for letting me.
Wording says, employees normally shall not be required to furnish a medical certificate from a health care practitioner to substantiate a request for approved sick leave unless sick leave exceeds 3 consecutive workdays. But you have to read further, okay? Normally, unless an employee is on sick leave restriction in accordance with this article, he or she will not be required to obtain medical certification for sick leave of 3 consecutive workdays or less. But if you turn the page, you got that up there? Okay. In 2, in cases where the nature of the illness is such that an employee did not need to see a medical practitioner, a medical certificate normally will not be required if the employee provides an acceptable explanation. I had the freaking flu.
Well, you know what, and that's why I'm because that happened to me just recently. I was already off on leave for surgery. Then I got sick right before I was supposed to come back to work. So that took me another week out, which she knew I had the flu because that's what I told her. I had the flu, the upper respiratory infection, which is reoccurring for me anyway, which is part of something that happens to me on a regular basis. It's not leave abuse. And I was told after the 3rd day when I called back and says, well, you know what, I'm just going to be off the rest of the week because I'm not feeling any better. You can hear all the rattling and congestion and all that, right? Well, I need you to bring in something from your doctor somewhere. I'm not even going to the doctor. What I'm going to the doctor for? I went through this thing. Well, anyway, I reported back to work that Monday because I was feeling better. But I did have a doctor's appointment that Wednesday. So while I was there, I got an excuse. I got something because she had to give me some medication. I got something to bring back just to cover myself because I know how, management play those.
Well, don't do that.
And stuff.
Don't be bringing stuff to cover yourself.
Right.
You're violating the contract and messing us up.
That's why I'm getting clarification now with that situation. Because it did happen to me, but I did get an excuse from my doctor that I had upper respiratory problems. Okay. Now you answered my question, but you answered the question.
Well, see, Linda, some people like Carmen are optimistic that they're going to be there the next day, and so she just still doesn't feel well that day. I mean, it's just like if you have a cold. I thought I was going to feel better.
I'm off tomorrow because now I'm having that same problem.
Right.
So tomorrow is what, Wednesday?
I'll be better till Monday.
Linda, too, in your case, you've been working for them for 30-plus years. I mean, if they can't take your word for the fact you were sick
And
for a
I never
week.
had to do that before, and it really kind of like baffled me when she asked me, well, you might want to get a doctor's excuse. I said, well, I'm not even going to the doctor. Well, I'm getting a doctor's excuse for if I'm not even going to the doctor and I have the flu.
Management has a problem in just reading the parts they want. All right? I mean, I've won cases on this. Would you please read the next section, please? And when they do, and then they kind of look and go, and the arbitrator kind of will go there and just go like this. It does say that now, doesn't it? And all you kind of ask them, and in fact, I believe Treese was at the one case where you're going to have Mary Marlowe up there. Well, did you consider this? No. And the person just looked at him and goes, you didn't consider that. It says you're supposed to. You did. You're done. It's knowing what you're doing. That's what I said. You have to, and in that contract, if you have the paperwork, it's actually, you got to turn the page to read.
That's okay.
All right? I had the flu. I've had, come on. You're 30-some years old. You are older. You know what happens when you have the flu or you have a cold. And if you go to the doctor's going to say, gee, go home, drink plenty of fluids, and stay in bed. All right? And I'm going to pay them $35